One of the things I tell people all the time is that life really doesn't happen to us, it happens through us. And this is so often reflected in the choices that we make. Here's the reality. Your life is the sum total of the choices you make. You make average choices, you live an average life. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Zip, your everyday life coach, and I provide you with practical tools for daily living so you can transform tomorrow today. I'm so excited to be back with you. Another amazing video that I want to share with you, a brief one at that. And if you haven't already, make sure you check me out on social media. I am doing something called Focus Week, and I started it Monday, and every single day posting just a 60-second video to motivate you. This is the last month of the year, recording this in the first week of the last month of 2022. And it's so important that you don't wait until the new year to make resolutions or plans, but that you start planning now for the things that you want to do in the new year. But more than that, you finish this year strong. This year isn't over yet. So all of your goals and dreams and aspirations and things you want to accomplish, you still have time. I believe in that. If there's something you wanted to get done by the end of this year, you literally have until December 31st at 11:59 p.m. to make it happen. And so make sure you do that. But check us out on social media, and you can see those Focus Week videos, and certainly like the videos, and feel free to share them and follow us there as well. So when you make average choices, you end up living an average life, and that's just the reality of the matter. And I know that it seems a little harsh for some, but I want to talk about this because, in my opinion, there are three really big things that I want to remind you of that I hope will steer you away from making average choices. I think people make average choices for a lot of different reasons, probably beyond the scope of the time that we have to explain today. But I will say that a few of those reasons are simple. One big reason that comes to mind is fear. People tend to be so fearful of many things, fearful of the unknown, fearful of whether or not the choices will actually work, fearful of failure. That's certainly something that I've had to deal with in the past. As a reformed perfectionist, someone who felt like everything had to be right and perfect all the time. You probably ask my kids that, they probably still think I'm a perfectionist. But as a reformed perfectionist, I will tell you, sometimes this fear of failure, always having to get everything right, can sometimes be the very thing that causes you to dumb down your choices or make choices that are not of the quality that they could be, that then in turn don't yield the types of results that they could yield. So I think fear is a big reason why people make average choices. I think another reason why people make average choices, frankly, is the opinion of other people. Sometimes we minimize who we are and minimize what we can have and minimize our potential for fear of what people will say or think or how people will respond. There's some, I do a lot of coaching, and I've got the link in the description if you are interested in those services. Do a lot of coaching. You'd be surprised at the number of people that I speak with who have tremendous business ideas but will not launch them for fear of whether or not people will like the product. As crazy as that sounds, right? If you have this idea of a product in a business line or a product line for a business, and it's really been placed on your heart to do, and it makes sense, and you've vetted it out, you've researched, you prepared properly to do it, you've got to get beyond this, whole idea of what if people don't respond, or what if people don't like it, or what if people don't engage it. And so a lot of times people don't engage in major decisions in their lives, not because they don't have the ability, but because they're so fearful of what people might say or how they might respond. See this a lot in relationships, and people who or in who people choose to date or who people choose to marry or be connected with. Stay tuned. I'm getting slowly dragged back into relaunching my Green Room podcast. I've been so busy over the last year that I really had to pause it. I just didn't have time to do everything. And so I'm really trying to break through the barrier of time, and not use time as an excuse to really do the things that I feel like I've been called to do, and that is empower you through great content. And but so many people have been tugging on me, especially based on recent posts and just people that I run into. I'm out in public when I'm out, because I don't go out a lot. It's especially not locally, but even when I travel, I can just meet complete strangers and have conversations with them, and they say, hey, Dr. Zeb, you ought to, really do a podcast on relationships. And I'm like, yeah, I've done this before. And coworkers, colleagues have been mentioning it. So you probably see some information soon about that, where we're going to do some live talks on just different relationship things. But you see this whole idea of being worried about what people say in the relationship field as well. And I've talked about this before in previous videos, I believe, one or two. And I will just say this quickly. And I'm not talking about making relationship choices with folks that you have no business being with, or that are not of the caliber that you deserve or worthy of having you in their lives. I'm not talking about those folks. If you chose those folks, you should be ashamed, and you should be worried about what people think. But I'm talking about when you have the opportunity to be connected to, whether it's in friendship, relationship, whatever, be connected to amazing people who will take your life and elevate it to the next level. Some people just won't press the trigger. They're fearful. They come up with excuses. They create drama, come up with excuses just to avoid pressing the trigger when they could be connected to amazing people. Why? In the name of what other people will think. And, I'm just at a place in my life, I know personally, if I could be personal here for a second, where everything, even down to the relationships I engage in, the friendships that I engage in, are going to be decisions that I'm going to make, irregardless of what people think. I am of the opinion that I deserve the best. I'm of the opinion that whatever I want, I should be able to have, especially if it's something that's going to help me and empower me and it's not going to harm me. And I refuse to settle for anything less than that in my life. And that's the attitude that I really want you to take. And so there's so many reasons why people make average choices, but I want to give you this. I'm going to give you 3 thoughts to think about or to consider rather, when you think about maybe some of the average choices that you've made and why you made them, okay? And I want to challenge you through these 3 thoughts. Thought number 1 is this. I've discovered that some people would rather settle and be safe than be uncomfortable for a season and happy for a lifetime. Some people would rather settle and be safe than to be uncomfortable for a season and happy for a lifetime, which implies to us that when you make exceptional decisions and exceptional choices in your life, there's a little bit of discomfort you might have to waver through. Nothing worth having is going to be easy to have. There's a reason why European cars, some of you call them foreigns, the bill to repair those cars are higher than just regular cars. Because it's believed, whether it's true or not, it could be debatable, but it's believed that the parts are more expensive, the quality is a better quality, and because the quality is higher, the cost is higher. And so many people make average choices because they're so fearful of the price they have to pay. They're so fearful of going through seasons of discomfort. A colleague of mine and I actually just yesterday were talking about some of our crazy young students who, will walk in our office and be like, Dr. Talley, I want a baller. I want to marry a baller. I want to marry a boss, a CEO, somebody who's running things. They don't realize that when you marry the boss is always working. The boss works 70, 80, 90 hours a week. Don't ask me how I know. They work all the time. So if you want to be connected to that, there's a sacrifice to pay. There's some discomfort you have to go through. So many people make average choices because they don't want to endure the discomfort for a season just to be happy in the long term or to be happy for a lifetime. But I'm here to tell you that anything worth having is also probably worth being uncomfortable for. Don't ever forget that. Anything worth having is also worth being uncomfortable for. And don't lose sight of that. Here's the second thought that I want to leave you as it relates to why people make average decisions. And that's this. It's this whole idea that they don't deserve more. Right? People I've discovered through counseling and coaching sessions, in my personal experiences with folks, helping people, even in some of the experiences that I've had my own. Some people arrive at a place where they feel like deep down inside, hey, I don't really deserve more than what I have. maybe because of some of the challenges I've had, or some of the mistakes I've made, or some of the bad decisions I've made. I only deserve this type of career. I only deserve this level of a relationship. I only deserve this type of person, right? It's impossible for me to get a great mate because I've made so many bad relationship decisions in the past, right? It's impossible for me to have a great job because, hey, I don't have a PhD, or I don't have a master's degree, or all of these certifications. Right? These are the types of thoughts that so many times people make when it comes to whether or not they feel worthy or deserving of greater things in their lives. And I'm here to tell you, worthiness doesn't start with what's on paper. It starts with what's in your heart. Worthiness doesn't start with the degrees that you have, but it starts with your spirit and what's in your energy. Because I believe this, that when you really feel like you're worthy to have better, and you really embody the spirit or energy of worthiness, then that in and of itself begins to attract great experiences to you. People can sense confidence and worthiness the same way a dog can smell fear. If you're afraid of dogs, and a dog runs up to you, that dog will go crazy if it can sense that you are fearful. In the same way a dog can sense fear, is the same way people can sense confidence and worthiness. And I'm here to tell you, when people can sense your confidence and worthiness, you may not even have the credentials, but they'll give you a shot because you come to the table feeling like, hey, I deserve to be here. Hey, I'm worthy of this opportunity. Hey, I'm worthy to have an exceptional mate that I'm excited about every day, who really pushes me and motivates me. And by the way, is very successful, has a lot going for them. I deserve that. And when you really, tackle your life with that mentality and attitude, you begin to then see that you don't allow yourself to make average choices or settle for average choices. You make great choices, even if you have to sacrifice and make them, because you feel like you are worthy of exceptional outcomes. Here's the third and final thought I want to leave with you in this. And I'm going to give you this thought, but I'm going to give it to you in an analogy. And that's this. You cannot have a Maldives mentality making Miami moves. Okay? You can't have a Maldives mentality making you cannot have a Maldives mentality making Miami moves. Meaning, Maldives is on my bucket list. If you follow me on social media, you'll see I travel a lot of places, go a lot of places, and I've got a bucket list. It's probably grown to about 14 or 15 places that I want to go to. I'm going to try to knock about 3 or 4 of those places off of my list in 2023. And Maldives is on that list. Maldives, beautiful island, huts over the water. Really want to go there. It's certainly a place that I will go, and hopefully soon. But let me just say this to you. You can't make Maldives moves with a Miami mentality, meaning you can't go after big things in your life when you've got a small mind, right? When you've got a small mentality, right? The reality is a trip to Miami and a trip to Maldives are 2 totally different price tags, 2 totally different levels of sacrifice, 2 totally different experiences, 2 totally different processes. It's just not the same. And what I've discovered in my counseling and coaching of people is people have Maldives desires, but they make Miami moves, right? You have a Maldives desire for your career, but you make Miami career-like moves. You have a Maldives mentality when it comes to the friendships you want in your life, the people you want in your life. But when we look at your track record of who you're dating, you're making Miami moves, right? And so you cannot expect the big thing making small moves. And that's certainly something that I want to challenge you to think about today. Look at your goal list. Look at the things that you want to accomplish and ask yourself, are the moves that I'm making in my life aligning with the goals I've set for my life? It's a very powerful question you should consider. Are the moves that I'm making in my life in alignment with the goals I've set for my life? If you've got Maldives goals, you ought to be making Maldives moves. If you've got Miami goals, you should be making Miami moves. If you've got Aruba goals, you should be making Aruba moves. Whatever your goals are, just make sure that the moves you're making are in full alignment with the goals you've set. Because if the moves you're making are in full alignment with the goals you've set, then you should start to experience exceptional things in your life, right? It's impossible to have big goals and make big moves, but end up making average choices. It doesn't work that way, right? If you have big goals and you make big moves, then you're going to have exceptional experiences. You're going to have exceptional choices. You're going to have to make exceptional sacrifices in order to net the outcome that you want. So that's all I'm trying to get at today. Listen, when you make average choices, you live an average life. Can't let fear keep you on the sideline. Can't let what people think keep you on the sideline. I am determined not to settle for anything in my life less than what I deserve. Anything less than what I want. Nothing. I don't care how long it takes. None of that matters to me. I'm not settling, because I realize that in order to have exceptional experiences, you've got to make exceptional choices. Listen, hope this video was helpful. If it did, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button. And remember, you've got two jobs. One, I want you to be better today than what you were yesterday. And two, don't forget what I told you. Now go after it.